Coming to you live from the KDWN studios on South Durango, Pawn Talk Live. Hosted by the voice of the Las Vegas Wranglers, Dave Carney, and the owner of the world-famous Max Pawn in Las Vegas, Michael Mack. Call in at 257-5396. That's 257-5396. And find out what your valuables are worth from the top expert in the pawn industry. Now, Michael Mack and Dave Carney.
And welcome to Pawn Talk Live here on News Talk 720, KDWN. Dave Carney sitting alongside Chad Forster and Michael Mack. And guys, thanks for sticking around with us here today. A great show at Live in Las Vegas. You can catch more of Live in Las Vegas 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. liveinlasvegasradio.com. That's liveinlasvegasradio.com. And Michael, you were joining us on the end of the program talking about your brand new store going to be opening up in joint venture here with the folks down at Cowtown Guitars. Really exciting stuff. Exile on Main Street, and it's going to be opening up before the South by Southwest thing. That's just not South by Southwest. The Life is Beautiful. Here we're talking about Austin. I'm South by Southwest.
I'd like to be down there, too.
Yeah, well, that was similar, and that was already passed. But you guys are going to be opening up, fairly soon.
We're going to be opening up the first Friday of June. So we're opening up actually a dry run on Thursday.
Man.
And we're going to be open first Friday, June 3rd. So look for it. It's going to be very exciting. We're going to be advertising. You're going to see. We're going to do some of the old cool things. Remember how we used to have concerts and you'd see the black posters posted up on.
Oh, yeah.
So you're going to see Exile on Main Street posted up downtown. We're doing a guerrilla marketing campaign. It's going to be cool.
Nice. Usually the only posters I see like that are for Tone Loc, performing over
or some Latino concert that's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
In green and red.
It's just it's down at the LVH. It's always somewhere down at the LVH. I'm like, Too Short is still performing. I guess they've got these posters up. Well, guys, welcome to Pawn Talk Live again. The number is 257-5396. 257-5396 to get online with fourth-generation pawnbroker Michael Mack. And remember, guys, no pawn question or any question really relating to buy, sell is too big or too small. Michael is here to answer them for you. And, Michael, we've got a really great show today for the listeners of Pawn Talk Live. Joining us at 2:10 is going to be a brand-new employee to the Max Pawn Superstore, a guy that is really, really respected in the industry, Ron Lawson, who recently joined you guys from Red Rock Jewelers. It must be fantastic to have Ron on board.
Well, I'll tell you, we just keep adding great team members to our, already super staff. James and Steve and Don. I have a great management team. All the members down there, they're great people and very nice. And I say that, I have a family down there at Max Pawn, and I just keep adding great new family members. And Ron's going to be a great addition. Came from the retail business. He was a retail Rolex. He ran the Mandalay Bay Rolex store for many years, so he knows Rolex. He's a diamond expert. Worked in the jewelry industries for most of his life, and most recently Red Rock Jewelers. And unfortunately, Red Rock Jewelers just closed down, and we feel bad about that happening because we hate to see great jewelry stores like that close down. But I'm so excited to bring his talent to Max Pawn.
Yeah, I bet you'd even be willing to give 1 or 2% off to all the Red Rock customers that come down to Max Pawn and start buying them up.
Yeah, we'll accept all Red Rock coupons.
That's great. I love it. Later on in the show, guys, we're also going to be talking to Jordan Tabach-Bank from the Beverly Loan Company. Jordan Bank has recently been appearing on a number of national news feeds talking about this resurgence, I should say, of folks in big cities, in high-income areas going to pawn shops to get things done. I mean, Chad, you and I have been talking for years about the banking system slowing down to basically a snail's crawl. And now what we're finding is folks, independent movie producers, entertainers are finding these high-end retail pawn stores really the place to go to get the cash that they need.
Yeah, a lot of times, when we're generally, guys like us are pawning something, it's a couple $100.
Right.
These guys are pawning stuff that's a couple $100,000, and they get a certain percentage off of it. It's really a growing industry.
What's happened in the last, I would say, in the last economic turn, Dave, we talk about all the time, is that, typically pawn customers are those that are from, the not so wealthy, the lower class, middle class, guys like you and I. But, the last economy, it hit everyone. And so we've seen pawn customers that had, making 6, 7 zeros at the end. And they're coming in and seeing us, guys that are making payroll in their companies, guys that are, need to pay property tax, guys that need to make, their private school payment. And when you have assets and you need to make those type of payments, it's very much an easy decision. You go and do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when you didn't have that choice, you didn't.
Yeah, no, well, when the money's all flowing and everybody's living off the fat of the land, you don't really think about giving away your stuff as freely, especially when you talk about pawning things. But nowadays, and especially like we're going to be talking to Jordan about later on in the program, it's folks, like I mentioned, that are trying to fund independent movie ventures, producers, artists, independent business folks from around the country that are looking, hey, I've got a really big, tax debt I've got to pay here, or I'm trying to send these guys on a nice company vacation, but I can't get a loan from the bank. Where can I go for this loan? Well, you can't go to a pawn store, but there are only a few that really take in the kind of items that we're talking about. Yourself, Jordan, a couple of other select ones around the country.
And Dave and Chad, we talk about it all the time. We have some of the best pawn stores in America right here in Las Vegas. So we're fortunate that we do high-end loans here in Las Vegas. And I can say most of the stores do. But, the ones that really jump out there and give loans for $50,000, $100,000, even $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. Those are the few and far between, and you have to have experts that know that type of collateral.
Absolutely.
And guys like Jordan, guys like myself at Max Pawn, we have experts that can assess and make loans in a quick manner. One of the problems I hear, not necessarily in Las Vegas, but around the country, is you'll come in with a very expensive item, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 item, and they have to go through their manager, their assistant manager. They have to go to the regional manager. They have to get approvals. And that sounds very much like a bank, right?
Yeah.
We're back to that. But, our type of companies like Jordan has at Beverly Loan Company and his new store, New York Loan Company in New York City, they can make those decisions in minutes. So you can walk out of a store with $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $10,000 within minutes and no hassle. And 90% of these people who get loans come back, retrieve their items. It's an interest they pay, and they use it again when they have that emergency situation.
Absolutely. Well, items like that where you can fetch the dollars that you're speaking of are always, generally the items that are, being returned and picked up because you can keep using them, like you said, again and again. And speaking of experts, the Max Pawns, expert panel keeps on growing, and we've got online with us right now Ron Lawson, one of your newest assistant managers down at Max Pawn. Ron, thanks so much for joining us today on Pawn Talk Live. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for all the kind words. I do appreciate it. I can't tell you how excited I am to be here at Max Pawn.
So, Ron, tell some of our listeners, I know there's a lot of listeners that know you. Tell some of our listeners your history and what you plan to do at Max Pawn.
Well, quite frankly, I've been in the business for over 30 years. It's basically all I've done for my entire adult life. As you had mentioned, I did manage a very nice Rolex store, exclusively Rolex, for quite a number of years. And the last couple of years, I've been with Red Rock Jewelers, made a lot of friends. That was at the Lake Mead location, and I hope a lot of them are listening to us today, and I hope they come over and see me.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ron, we're going to introduce a little introductory sale. They're going to have the Ron Lawson sale for the next 2 weeks. Anyone that says they know Ron and done business with Ron in the past, they're going to get a special discount. Just mention you heard us on Pawn Talk Live, and come see Ron. Ron, what are your days that you're working down there so everyone knows?
I'm here 4 days a week, Thursday through Friday, from open till close. And if there's a special appointment that's necessary, I would be glad to make an appointment to meet you or anybody else on any other given day.
Guys, what Ron did at Red Rock Jewelers is very similar to what he's going to be doing at Max Pawn. He's assessing merchandise. He's buying jewelry. He's buying watches, offering great service like Red Rock has. So really, it's just a continuum of what you've done when you were at Rolex and with Red Rock Jewelers, who's done just a great community service as being a great jeweler for Las Vegas. And so sorry to see him go. And I have to tell you, even on break, I told the guys, we're so excited about having you over, bringing your customer service and your skills to Max Pawn. People come to Max Pawn and they expect us to know and to value their items, and your jewelry experience, your diamond experience, your watch experience. It's just going to be a great addition, and we're so excited to have you.
Yeah, Ron.
Well, thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate that, and this is my very first day on the job in this beautiful store, fantastic merchandise, and I feel like I'm part of your family already.
Well, good. I hope everyone's treating you good down there, and feel free to come down, see Ron. I'm going to also throw out another zinger. We have a treasure chest down at Max Pawn, and so if you come down and you're a friend of Ron's, or you could be a new friend, you can be a new friend of Ron's. Just say you were here to see Ron and you heard us on Pawn Talk Live. We're going to give you a free little gift out of our treasure chest.
Nice. I like it. Well, Ron, listen, we got to step aside, take our first look at traffic here on Pawn Talk Live. Before I let you go, give me the top-rated Rolex watch right now. What is that?
Oh, that would be a stainless steel Daytona, without question.
Okay, I know what I want for Christmas. Thanks so much, Ron. We'll be
Good
back.
luck to you, Ron.
We'll be back on Pawn Talk Live. Stay tuned.
And at 2:15, the KDWN Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center got a new incident on the 95. That's southbound north of Eastern. Look out for some scattered debris in that one. Also 15 southbound north of Flamingo in the Resort Corridor. 215 westbound the Durango off-ramp. And crashes Spring Mountain at the 15, Las Vegas Boulevard at Windmill, and Orville at Spring Mountain. For the KDWN Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, I'm Jim Dallas on News Talk 720 KDWN.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy of the Phil's Gang Show. I'm back. That's right, back on Las Vegas. Be sure to catch the Phil's Gang Show weekdays 12 noon to 1 p.m. right here on 720 KDWN. The Phil's Gang Show, 12 noon to 1 p.m. on Las Vegas, 720 KDWN.
Hey, this is Rabbi Yitzwine of Young Israel Aish of Las Vegas. Please join me on The Rabbi Show every Sunday morning as we look at the implications of issues in the news and those we face in our daily lives. The Rabbi Show, Sunday mornings at 9 on News Talk 720 KDWN.
Farmers Insurance believes that the more you know, the better you can plan for what's ahead. To find your local agent and get smarter about your insurance, call 888-96-FARMERS. That's 888-96-FARMERS.
I'm attorney Glenn Lerner. Did you know Metro is no longer responding to non-injury car wrecks? The problem is most people don't realize that they're hurt until days later. Even if you don't think you're hurt at the time of the wreck or don't have a police report, you're still entitled to medical treatment and the money you deserve for your injuries. Just because Metro doesn't show up to your wreck doesn't stop you from filing a claim. If the police don't show up, call us immediately for a free consultation and we'll advise you of your rights.
Glenn Lerner is the way to go. Call 877-1500.
Hi, this is Michael Mack, owner of world-famous Max Pawn in Las Vegas. You ever wondered what those valuables are worth? Had a pawn question but didn't know who to ask? I have the solution for you. Join me and Dave Carney every Friday from 2 to 3 for Pawn Talk Live here on News Radio 720 KDWN.
Now back to Pawn Talk Live with your hosts Michael Mack and Dave Carney.
And welcome back to Pawn Talk Live here on News Talk 720 KDWN, streaming worldwide at KDWN.com. I'm Dave Carney, joined by the owner of the world-famous Max Pawn, fourth-generation pawnbroker Michael Mack, as well as our good buddy Chad Forrester. And, Michael, the phone lines are open, but right now what I want to do before we open up the next set of phone lines, I want to spin our prize wheel. Let's get that cranked up.
And now it's time to get lucky with the Max Pawn prize wheel.
All right, there it is, Chad. I'm Dave Woolery with the Max Pawn prize wheel, and today for our next caller here at 257-5396, that's 257-5396, you're going to win an absolutely free prize out of the Max Pawn treasure chest. And Michael, you guys have stuffed this thing with so much great stuff. Not only do we have awesome DVD prize packages, CD prize packages, power balance bracelets, the goodies stash just goes on and on and on. So the next caller here, 257-5396, is the big winner. Now, coming back here to Pawn Talk Live, wanted to break it down a little bit different. A different version of Pawn 101. Now, you know, every week we kind of talk about what pawn is and why it's different than selling or just traditional retail. But this week, Michael, in Pawn 101, I kind of want you to give our listeners the top 10 items that are pawnable in basically any pawn shop.
Well, I'll tell you the number one, and we just had Ron Lawson on, Rolex watches universally anywhere in the world you can take. Hold value, strong lending tool. So it could be a stainless steel, it could be a solid gold Rolex, it could be a vintage Rolex, it could be a newer Rolex. Rolex is hot.
Gotcha.
And then you have your Cartiers and your Breitlings and your Tag Heuers, and all those brands hold value, and they're great lending tools. One of the greatest lending items is a firearm. We talk about, we have Rayon once a while with our gun vault. We talk about gun safety and bringing guns to Max Pawn to store. But guns hold value. It could be an assault rifle. It could be a shotgun. It could be a deer rifle. It could be a semi-automatic pistol or revolvers. Revolvers, believe it or not, the old revolvers hold great value. You might have an old Smith & Wesson, 357. they're actually worth more than a Glock.
Well, and it's funny. I was talking to Dawn, one of your store managers, and obviously the gal who is like the Annie Oakley of the pawn business, knows more about guns than any chick I have ever met. And Dawn was telling me this week that the revolver, Michael, is fetching a lot higher dollar than it used to. The revolver is coming in like in vogue again. Do you know why that might be?
I could just jump in here real quick. One of the things that people that shoot like revolvers for is because there's less mechanical action going on, less things that can go wrong. So if you're in a life-death situation, if you have a revolver, there's less problems with something jamming. So that might be part of it.
The 45's got a jamming issue.
Sometimes.
You know what? It's just it's a mechanical issue, and so it's you have to pull it back, and there's more to it. If you have a little 38 snub nose, revolver, you pull that trigger, it goes, and there's nothing else to it. But I think there's less of them. The gun business, guys, has gone crazy.
Yeah, it has.
And there's so much new product out there, and there's so much new semi-automatic stuff. The revolvers are less and less because they haven't made as many, and so the collectors have them, and the values have gone crazy. But great item to pawn, holds value, and most people come back and get those items.
All right, well, so that's 2 out of our 10 down, and we're going to talk about some more of the really awesome items to pawn at basically any pawn shop. But right now, guys, we're going to take our first winner here. Paul, thanks so much for joining the program. Paul, you are a winner today on our Max Pawn prize wheel. Thanks for joining the program. Is this your first time calling into Pawn Talk Live?
Yes, it is.
Well, congratulations, buddy. You are a big winner. Now, we're going to have Angie give you some directions off air here how to get down to the Max Pawn Superstar. Have you ever been down to the location before, Paul?
No, I haven't.
All right. Well,
let me ask you this, Paul. Have you been to a pawn shop?
Yes, I have.
And do you have any favorites here in town?
I only been to the Gold and
Silver, the one that's famous on TV?
That's the only one I've been to.
Did you get anything there? Did you buy anything?
No, I sold an antique rifle.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you what. If you ever need an evaluation, we do offer it for free. You can bring down any item. It could be a collectible. It could be something new. And we'd love to say hi. And, of course, you're a winner of the prize wheel, and we welcome you to Max Pawn.
Yeah, absolutely. Paul, stay on the line. We'll get your information all taken care of by Angie. Thanks so much for joining the program here. Again, the phone line's wide open at 257-5396, 257-5396. In about 10 minutes, guys, we're going to be hearing from Jordan Tabach-Bank again from Beverly Loan Company, and Jordan's going to be telling us about why folks in really, really high-end neighborhoods, why folks with, probably a lot more disposable income than us are really finding great use of pawn stores around the country.
Yeah, you just don't think of that. You don't think of the rich guy down the street that owns the Mercedes and all that needing to go to a pawn store. But we all get in these situations, especially as Michael mentioned before, in 2008 when we had that downturn in the economy. Let's face it, really hasn't bounced back like we had hoped.
Well,
but,
not for everybody.
This happens
yeah,
now.
Absolutely.
It blew my mind. I didn't realize there were people out there that have the $200,000 watches and all these different things that need the money, that need the cash, and they're actually pawning it off, especially because a lot of times you have that negative connotations with pawn. We've talked about that before. I think that's changed dramatically.
Yes.
And talking about, Max Pawn specifically, and me being a new member of the family, I have to say it truly is like a family atmosphere. As a matter of fact, on Monday, we had that little bit of a birthday party for Michael.
That's
and
right.
all the people down. It was so much fun.
You know what? And I'm kind of hoping we were going to save this for a little bit later on in the
I'm sorry.
program.
No more surprises, guys, I hope.
Did I spoil it?
No, I was going to say hopefully we're going to be able to play a little bit of audio from Michael's birthday, some great stuff we were able to capture while we were over there.
Just everybody down there, it is like a family, Michael, and it's special.
I'll tell you what, the team down there, I come back from a vacation. It was shocking because I opened the door. Kat, my fiance, knew all about this, had this all planned, and our team planned a little birthday soiree, and it was a fiesta. We had some cool things happening, and I don't know what surprises you have, but it was really kind, and I think everyone had a good time. We had good food. We had the mariachi band. We had authentic Mexican food, and we hope to do something. I think we might surprise everyone and come back on May 3rd, which is Cinco de Mayo Friday.
That's right.
And have a party there, and we'll have Pawn Talk Live and Live in Las Vegas live.
Yeah, absolutely. We're working on the mechanics of that right now, but you kind of heard it here first. We're looking at doing a live show May 3rd down there at the store, the Max Pawn Superstore. Going to be a great time. Like we say, Live Las Vegas and Pawn Talk Live, both broadcasting out of there. Guys, we've got another winner, though. I decided to take 2 winners here for our prize wheel. Being that it is Good Friday and all, I think I'm in a very giving mood. We've got Charles on the line with us. Charles, thanks so much for joining the program. How are you, bud?
Hey, good. How you doing?
Well, we're doing fantastic, Charles. Congratulations. You're a winner here today on Pawn Talk Live. Is this your first time ever calling and winning here on the show?
Yes, sir, it is.
All right, well, awesome. Michael, we've got somebody here. Charles, I don't know, have you ever been to a pawn store before, or is this kind of like your deflowering of pawn stores here with this win?
No. I've been to them.
You're a pawn veteran.
I'm a Carson City kid. I'm a Morgan collector.
Oh, wow. So have you been to some of the pawn stores up in northern Nevada?
Yes.
So
and I've been frequenting over there, with John and Allie over there. They're a pretty good place for the coins. Of course, they're more into coins than anything else.
And what's the name of that store?
It's Nevada Coin and Jewelry.
Oh, yeah. You know what? They're some of the finest folks. And, they actually sponsor our show here, Daybreak, and John and they're wonderful folk, and you can't do probably, when you choose stores, you have to trust who you're doing business with.
Yep.
And you couldn't ask people who are really trustworthy and good people. And they still have that family atmosphere that we try to portray at Max Pawn.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, talk about another beautiful store here in the Southern Nevada Valley. I mean, you got Max Pawn, you've got that one over there, and great setup. Now, Charles, with these Morgan coins, are you still an avid collector here, or are you selling off some of your stock?
I sell some because obviously some of them I buy in a batch. You'll buy a grab bag, and if there's some I already have, I get rid of them. What I'm really into is I collect the complete 13 set of the GSA horde. I've got 13 already, but my goal is to get them all and then get them all certified from NGC and have a set of 13 MS65s, a set of 13 MS67s, so on and so forth. So I've got 2 complete sets right now, but as you go through them, some of them I have duplicates and 4 and 5, and then those I get rid of.
Well, I'll tell you what, John, we are not numismatic dealers, and what you can find at Max Pawn from time to time are coins in our showcase, and we can offer those to you, and we don't, like I say, we're not numismatic. We put them in our case. We don't look up the values. You might find some steals. So come down and check us out. Of course, you're a prize winner, and I'm looking forward to meeting you. And if you're a friend of John and Allie's over there, you're a friend of ours.
That's right. And, Charles, we'll go ahead and get you all squared away with the information of where Max Pawn is here through Angie, our board up. But great call here today. Thanks so much for joining us on the program, and I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised to see the stuff that they've got down there at the store.
Right on.
All right, thanks so much. And again, great phone call there. Really talking about our good friends, John and Allie. I forgot that they sponsored Daybreak here on KDWN as well. One of the best programs in the morning. If you're up at 5 a.m., tune in to 7:20 a.m. I know when I get up before my workouts, that's what I start my day off with. So great stuff there. The phone line's still going to be open here, guys, at 257-5396, 257-KDWN. Coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to be talking to Jordan Tabach-Bank from the Beverly Loan Company. Michael, here's a question for you. When we look at Jordan's company down there in Beverly Hills and now out in Manhattan, we look at your company here. We obviously talk to the Golds quite often back in Detroit. We look at some of the finer pawn establishments in the country and the pawn establishments, honestly, that have the wherewithal to be able to lend on higher dollar items. Do you feel that in and of itself makes, your business, Jordan's business, the Gold's business, a bit of a niche even within the pawn industry?
Well, Dave, as you know, Max Pawn is a luxury store in itself by being a luxury retailer and reseller of designer handbags. So we kind of found a niche within there. But there's several pawn shops, like you mentioned, Jordan's store in New York, as well as in Beverly Hills. We have friends all throughout, and we have guests on all the time from different pawn stores that have seen an uptick in upscale lending. And I think it's only, just begun because it's easy, it's friendly, and it's quick. To get a $5,000 loan is just as difficult it is to get a $5 million loan if you're going through your bank.
That's right.
You have to show your financial statements. You have to show tax returns. You have to have the wherewithal. Your debt-to-equity ratio has to be this and that. And so for people that want cash quick, and like this story about Jordan lending in New York to this producer, he had a deadline. It was days. It wasn't weeks or months,
right?
And he could make it quick.
Yeah, I think it was like a $200,000 worth of merchandise for a $75,000 loan, and it turned out great because the guy got the movie started, and he came back for his merchandise, and everybody was happy.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we start to look at the ever-changing landscape of business, finance, personal finance, business finance, entertainment finance, you start to look at an industry segment, Michael, like the pawn industry, where you do have the ability, the wherewithal to make some of these quick loans, quick decisions, without underwriting approval, and you start to see this being much more attractive to the new entrepreneur. I mean, it used to be, time immemorial, the thought was you don't go anywhere but your local bank for financing. And now it's almost the exact opposite. You want to go anywhere but your local bank for financing.
And I think that's a great thing.
Yeah, and when we come back, we are going to be talking to the aforementioned Jordan Tabach-Bank from Beverly Loan Company. Great stuff still ahead here on Pawn Talk Live. Stay with us on News Talk 720.
Need your news fix? Get the news you want anytime, day or night at KDWN.com. Local, state, national, and international news, plus sports, entertainment, and weather is always just a mouse click away. KDWN.com, where locals find their news. News, traffic, and the best talk you can find in Las Vegas. News Talk 720 KDWN. Listen live at KDWN.com, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Live streaming of KDWN is brought to you by Brian A. Lowe and Associates. Call 259-0002. This is News Talk 720 KDWN, Las Vegas.
AP Update. I'm Carlotta Bradley. Missouri authorities are charging a suspect in a series of random highway shootings in Kansas City. Jackson County Prosecutor Gene Peters Baker.
Mohammed Whitaker is charged as a criminal defendant in 18 felony charges. Those 18 felony charges include 9 separate incidents that occurred throughout the metro area.
She says it's an important case.
We're most grateful that we do not have more serious injuries involved in this case. But make no mistake about it, these are incredibly serious charges, and we're really grateful of what we have been able to present to you today.
Kansas City, Missouri Mayor Sly James says drivers can again feel safe on city highways.
We celebrate the only good that comes out of such violence, and that is the apprehension of the potential perpetrator of that violence.
AP Update. I'm Carlotta Bradley.
The news brought to you by Arby's. It's back. Arby's Mix and Match. 2 sandwiches for just $5.50. Choose from the Beef and Cheddar Classic, the Roast Beef Classic, or the Fish Sandwich. 2 for $5.50. Limited time offer at participating Arby's.
232, the Kid on Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center. Just a couple of accidents on the 15 right now. NHP's on the scene. 15 southbound, that's north of Flamingo. North 15, the Russell off-ramp, that's in the early stage. The Beltway 215 westbound, the Durango off-ramp on the right shoulder. And crashes Arville at Spring Mountain on the west side, Las Vegas Boulevard at Windmill, and Spring Mountain at the 15 interchange. For the Kid on Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, I'm Jim Dallas on News Talk 720 KDWN.
Thank you, Las Vegas, for making One Nevada the #1 bank or credit union in the Review Journal's 2014 Best of Las Vegas poll. To celebrate, we're offering 15-year mortgage loans as low as 2.99%. Apply today at onenevada.org or call 382-4094. One Nevada is open to all Clark County and Pahrump residents. Federally insured by the NCUA Equal Opportunity Lender.
You hear a lot of talk about gold these days. What, with the stock market and more upheaval than tumbleweeds in a tornado? The world-famous Max Pawn is your gold spot in Las Vegas. Don't just send your gold into some random TV guide for pennies on the dollars. Go where you can see what your gold is really worth and get guaranteed market rate for your gold, silver, diamonds, and more. Come visit the world-famous Max Pawn in Las Vegas at the northeast corner of Sahara and Jones or online at maxpawnlv.com.
If you're a conservative American over 50, then please listen to this important message. Hi, friends. Fran Tarkenton here. Let me tell you about an organization fighting to protect our country from the destructive liberal policies threatening our great nation. AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, with over 1 million members and growing, serves as a strong conservative alternative to the left-leaning AARP. Over the years, I'd become increasingly distrustful of the AARP and its liberal agenda, but their support for Obamacare was the last straw. As a football player, I understood that in order to win, you have to keep fighting. Well, AMAC not only shares my conservative beliefs, but they also share that same willingness to fight to protect those beliefs for generations to come. You deserve better than AARP. AMAC is better. Better for you. Better for America.
Join AMAC today to receive exclusive benefits and discounts. Call 888-950-AMAC or go to teamamac.us to become a member. Call 888-950-AMAC or go to teamamac.us.
Now back to Pawn Talk Live with your hosts Michael Mack and Dave Carney.
And welcome back to Pawn Talk Live here on News Talk 720 KDWN, streaming worldwide at KDWN.com. I'm Dave Carney, joined by fourth-generation pawnbroker and owner of the world-famous Max Pawn, Michael Mack. Our new co-host, Chad Forrester. Guys, great show here so far today on Pawn Talk Live. Great calls. Congratulations to our first big winners, Paul and Charles. Charles sure sounded like he had some interesting coins. Now, really quick, Michael, before we bring on Jordan Tabach-Bank from Beverly Loan Company, I want to ask you about this week's gold and silver prices because I see gold is, again, on a bit of a roll, and you can get this stuff updated, maxpawnlv.com. Silver's down a little bit, too, but what's gold been doing this week?
You know, we didn't see a lot of fluctuation in gold prices this week, but we did take a downturn from Monday all the way till today. Gold closed at $1293.90, silver's at $1953, and platinum's at $1404. So not a lot of movement, but it did take a downtick, probably I'd say 4 or 5% for the week, and that's big numbers when you're talking about precious metals.
Great time to buy.
I was going to say, Chad.
Yeah, I'm all about buy.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, you're all about buy. And, one of the great places in town here, Michael, I know you don't really deal in it, is gold and silver bullion. And one of the great places to buy gold and silver bullion right now is Sahara Coins, just a couple of clicks up the street from your shop on Sahara and Tenania. You talk about a guy, a group of great folks, really knowledgeable and have all the bullion you could want. Go check them out.
Like we talked about before, John and Alicia over there at, Las Vegas Coin and Jewelry Buyers, they're great folks on that side of town. But Sahara Coin, they have new management over there, and I don't know if you've seen the change, but big changes, very customer service friendly, offer top dollar, very acknowledgeable, and I'll tell you what an awesome looking store.
Oh man, it's fantastic. It's kind of the new breed, and I have to say that I think you're probably at the forefront of that here in Las Vegas. I know you don't like to tip your own cap too often, but the way that you designed the Super Pawn stores with your brother, the way that you designed the Max Pawn store, and now the new Max Pawn Superstore, it's starting to really, I think, rub off on the rest of the folks here in town.
I've been buying gold and silver for last 7 or 8 years, and that's where I've always gone. And their store, they've moved a couple times, or at least once anyway, since I've known them. And it's just unbelievable. Great service down there. And I have to tell you, every time I go in there, the place is packed.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people buying gold and silver right now.
Yeah, there is. Well, and they've got a lot of great, coins, the Newsmatic coins like you talked about, Michael. Another awesome place here in Las Vegas to shop. But, guys, without further ado, we're bringing on Jordan Tabach-Bank from the Beverly Loan Company. You can visit them online at beverlyloan.com. Jordan, thanks so much for joining us here today on Pawn Talk Live. How the heck are you, buddy?
Thanks for having me. First and foremost, I gotta wish Mr. Mack a happy birthday.
I had a great birthday. It's getting better as I get older, Jordan, I got to tell you. But it's great having you on the air, and I'm excited to hear what's happening with your new store in New York. Of course, Jordan is famous not only for having Beverly Loan Company, but he had the TV show Final Offer. We want to hear a little bit about that. So what's happening with you, Jordan?
Keeping busy. I'm a glutton for punishment. Open stores 3,000 miles away from one another, but all is well.
Great. Well, we obviously are excited about some of the national press you've seen with your New York store. We followed the story about a producer that needed some short-term cash, had some rather awesome watches, got a loan on, and he was able to fund his project and return and get his possessions back. And we're seeing more and more of that trend here nationally. And Jordan, with your stores, I know you're a high-end pawnbroker. You cater to the high end. You cater to all folks, but the average loan I know is more than the average pawn shop out there. What's your take on all this?
We've been sort of specializing in this niche form of lending for quite some time. Our Beverly Hills operation and our New York operation tend to make larger loans. And often people ask, why would someone with such major assets, whether it be a large GIA-certified diamond ring or a collection of Rolexes, Patek Philippe's, or we even deal in art, Picasso's, Warhol's, why would they need to come to a pawn shop? And the answer is simple. There are several reasons. One, just because you're affluent does not mean you have good credit. And without good credit, you're not getting a bank loan. not at Beverly Loan Company, New York Loan Company, and at Michael's shop, of course, Max Loan, none of these shops check credit. The collateral speaks for itself. In addition to that, we provide quick cash. Nothing's going through loan committee. There aren't several levels of approval. There aren't stacks of paperwork. You don't have to hire an attorney. It's a quick, easy, dignified process. And people appreciate that. Credit facilities are tight. It's difficult to get a bank loan, and they know when they come to my New York operation or my Beverly Hills operation, they're walking out the door in minutes with cash in hand.
Well, and Jordan, the Beverly Loan Company that was started by your grandfather in 1938 has been the home of, celebrities, socialites, business people from the Southern California area and really from, the entire world since that time. Have you guys found that by virtue of your time in business, by, the strength of your location, you've been able to separate yourself from some of the stigma of pawn shops throughout the years?
Yeah, we've always done our best. I've always tried to debunk the myth that pawn shops are only for desperate people and they're dark and dingy places. Both of my shops are actually in an office building setting. So we are not storefront. We're in discrete private offices, and it's a highly confidential process. And well-lit, clean operations, and whether you are in an office building or storefront, I've seen pawn shops across the country. 99.9% of them are fantastic places to not just get a loan, but to shop and to sell your goods as well.
Well, I'll tell you what, you talk about discretion, Jordan, and I know over the years you and I have been friends, and we've talked about it. All the great shows, our friends at Hardcore Pawn, Seth and Ashley and Les and Rick and the gang over at Pawn Stars, you've had the opportunity, I know that, we've talked about reality shows, and I know that they've come to you at Beverly Loan Company, and you've turned them away at many a times, but you did take an offer, and
it turns out it was the final offer.
It was the final offer. We want to hear I'm sad that it's not on because you were great, and the show I thought was great. Tell our listeners a little bit about Final Offer.
Sure. Yeah, we've had several opportunities to shoot a show in our shops, both the New York and the Beverly Hills location. And I've turned down those offers only because I can't have cameras in my shops. We do high-end lending, and it's such a confidential process. My customers just wouldn't feel comfortable with it, and neither would I. So I always looked for opportunities to showcase my talents of negotiating outside of the four walls of my office, and an opportunity I had was on Discovery Channel on a show called Final Offer, which was fantastic. It pitted me against other dealers buying from the public at large oddball items. For instance, sitting in my conference room right now is the original Energizer bunny that I bought on the show. That was actually
awesome.
Used in the commercials. So it was a great time. It was good exposure for the business, and it allowed me to maintain the privacy, discretion, confidentiality that's so important to my clientele.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'd love to have the Energizer Bunny next Easter, and we could have it out at Max Pawn. We could do a special event and, promote that. But also, didn't you grab some NASCAR stuff when you were on that show?
Oh yeah, a lot of fun stuff. Everything from artwork to NASCAR signed hoods to the bunny, as we spoke of, to tons of different entertainment memorabilia, sports memorabilia. One of the things that separated this show from a lot of other shows is we were really bidding with our own money. So when you saw beads of sweat on me, they were real beads of sweat.
You're the producer.
I'm not that good an actor.
Right, the producer didn't stuff your pockets there with his fat roll. And no, you were like, this is my money. We've really got to make this work.
Precisely.
Well, let me ask you, Jordan. We're talking to Jordan Tabach-Bank, owner of Beverly Loan Company as well as New York Loan Company. You can check them out online, BeverlyLoan.com. Jordan, when you look, through your history in the pawn business, and obviously you've gotten a chance to see, like Michael, some of the most unique, interesting, and historical items. What's one or two items that you've had to reflect back on and just say, hey, that was really cool. I'm glad I got to see that.
the things that get me most excited are the large GIA certified diamonds. Why? Because they're the biggest loans, and,
Right.
and I
Good
specialize
point.
in making large loans. So that's what personally gets me most excited. That said, some unique things. I'm a sports fan, so anytime I see Super Bowl rings or Olympic gold medals, I always find that fun. And whether they're selling them or getting a loan against them, it's always an interesting process. And one thing about my shop is we do everything in our power to make sure the collateral comes back to the customer. I want to see that ring back on my client's finger, and I want to see that medal back around my client's neck. So we really work with our clients. So while I'm holding it for a short period of time, it's held in bank vault security. I can enjoy it. I can know it's there. But my end goal is to get it back to the customer.
All right, well, Jordan, that's fantastic, man. We came right up to the commercial break. Awesome stuff. And I've wondered myself through the years, how many of the gold medals would Bruce Jenner have to pawn in order to get his face back? That's the only thing I want to know is, how could he come back to being Bruce Jenner?
Wow.
Jordan, been great having you here on the show with us. Thanks so very much, and congratulations on the opening of your store in New York. I know it's been since 2013, but we haven't talked to you about it here. So BeverlyLoan.com if you want to buy online. Thanks again for joining us here on the show. And NewYorkLoan.com as well, too. Don't forget about New York Loan, just because we're on the West Coast, guys. We're going to step aside, take our final look at traffic here on Pawn Talk Live. When we come back, a little surprise for Michael from his birthday. You're going to want to stick around to hear this. Stay tuned.
And at 2:45 in the KDWN Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, got an incident on the Beltway, 215 westbound, the Durango off-ramp. South 15, that's north of Flamingo. North 15, the Russell off-ramp. Also crashes Orville at Spring Mountain, Charleston at Jones. And remember, lane restrictions are in place again on Flamingo and Las Vegas Boulevard for work on the Cromwell Hotel there in that area. For the KDWN Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, I'm Jim Dallas on News Talk 720 KDWN.
Gavish Real Estate. Call us to sell or buy at 255-1145.
Do you own a home in Nevada that has recently skyrocketed in value? Do you know what a bubble is? If you want to take advantage of good timing and cash in on your equity, call me, Ido Gavish, and I will sell your home fast and put cash in your pocket. Call me today at 255-1145.
Gavish Real Estate. Call us to sell or buy at 255-1145.
Capiche? That's Gavish.
Luxury shops in Las Vegas aren't new. What is new, however, is luxury meeting value. At the world-famous Max Pawn, we specialize in marrying the two. With some of the finest selections of watches, designer handbags, sunglasses, and more, the luxury never stops. Every day, new items are added in-store and online. From Gucci and Chanel to Hermes and Louis Vuitton, Max Pawn delivers all the top luxury brands at a fraction of the price. Visit us online at maxpawnlv.com or browse our showroom in Las Vegas. The world-famous Max Pawn, where luxury meets value.
I'm Brian Whitman. How confident are you that you've addressed all of your financial and estate planning needs? I can help. Listen every Tuesday morning at 9 for the Financial Hour with Brian Whitman on News Talk 720 KDWN.
So we had this break-in on our block, and that triggered my mama bear instincts. I work full-time, so I'm not home when my kids get home. Sometimes I'm not even home before dinner. So it got me thinking, what if that was my home? I had to take action to protect my family. We started researching home security systems, and the clear winner was Vivint. Best price, best technology, super easy to use. It's a fully monitored security system, but I love their video technology most. I can actually see what's going on in my home right from my smartphone, tablet, or computer. I check it before my kids get home, then again around 4 so I know they got home safely. I can even lock the doors remotely if they forget. Vivint keeps me in control of my family's safety, even when I can't be home.
Take control of your family's safety with Vivint. Order now for up to $1,300 in security equipment at no charge. Just pay as little as $99 for activation. Plus, call now and installation is free. Call 800-569-0364. 800-569-0364. 800-569-0364.
This is Jorge Gonzalez from the Opening Line Radio Show. Join us every Sunday night from 9 to 10 p.m. to get in-depth analysis and free selections for the upcoming week of football right here on AM 720 KDWN.
Now back to Pawn Talk Live with your hosts Michael Mack and Dave Carney.
And welcome back to Pawn Talk Live here on News Talk 720 KDWN. What is that? It's a little sound from Michael's birthday.
You guys are something else. So it's like the Polish wedding, the birthday party that never ends.
Listen, you're only however old you are once, and
I don't know if you know this. This is a new trend. They don't do birthdays anymore. It's birthday weeks.
Birthday week, yeah.
Especially the ladies. They love to do a birthday week or birthday month.
The month.
Yeah, oh yeah, the birthday month gets a little egregious to me, and I'm like, listen. You know, not even Jesus gets a birthday month. We know.
I mean,
we
seriously.
categorize that into the week of Christmas. You know, may he rest in peace or rise in peace, as would be the case this weekend.
Thank you guys for all their birthday wishes, and I thank my employees again for the party they played and played me off well. I came back and was shocked. And,
you had no idea, did you? We're all standing in there, and you get back from lunch, and the look of surprise on your face is one that we don't get to see a lot because this is what everybody's thinking about before Michael's birthday.
And it was really one of those things. What do you get the guy that has everything? Well, mariachi band seems to work.
Absolutely,
you know, it's the simple things because it really, I am fortunate to have good health, a great family. And, when you see your friends together and you have a little party, there's nothing better.
Yeah, absolutely. The only hard part for Michael was getting the mariachi band to leave him then because apparently they followed him in the car to his next place.
Hey,
and the
when
next
you hire
place,
these guys for an hour, they give you an hour.
That's right.
That's how it works.
Yeah,
man.
no, he just had to keep tipping them, keep tipping them.
It was so much fun that, like I said, we're going to continue this party on May 3rd.
May 3rd.
And we're going to have a Cinco de Mayo party on Friday the 3rd. Have Pawn Talk live in Las Vegas, of course, first.
Yes.
And so we invite our listeners to come down. We're going to have some live music. We're going to have some Mexican cuisine. And we're going to have a lot of fun down at Max Pawn.
Yeah,
I can't say we're going to have the margarita machine because I can't promote that, but we'll have some good lemonade.
Yeah, exactly. Michael's business license doesn't include the liquor license.
Well,
but
I don't think the federal firearms goes well with
not
my
so
liquor.
much.
No,
Not so much. So let's call it a brown bagger, okay? BYOB. And if you come to the store with something, maybe nobody else.
Yeah, 7-Eleven next door. You go do your thing.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, great plug for your neighboring 7-Eleven, by the way. So really good stuff here on the show today, guys. And thanks so much to the phone calls we had earlier in the show from Paul and from Charles, two of our big winners on the Max Pawn prize wheel. And really interesting conversation, Michael and Chad, with Jordan Tabach-Bank, owner of New York Loan Company and Beverly Loan Company. I've just known Beverly Loan Company so long. I say BeverlyLoanCompany.com. It rolls off my tongue. And, Jordan's right. I mean, the office locations that they have for their specific type of lending are not even, Michael, like yours, where you have a big open storefront. His are located in New York in the International Gem Tower. Okay, so that's, held by Cartier, by, a couple of the other, De Beers family cartels.
The only way you can get in this building is you have to have pre-approval. They screen you, and they also do sensors with your fingerprints. They do retina, for
Scanning,
clearance.
sure,
Yes.
right.
And it's unbelievable. They're on the same floor as GIA and FedEx, and this is the new jewelry tower. This is really the top jewelry facility now in the world, right out of New York City.
Well, privacy is a big deal with these guys. So we're talking about out there, and we won't mention the names, but I mean, there's some big names that come into those kinds of stores that people would recognize that need loans too. It's just it blows my mind because you don't think of celebrities as needing money.
Well,
we do.
One guy that I think is going to be needing some money and might also need the discretionary lending of Jordan Tabach-Bank is Yasiel Puig. Okay, I don't know if you guys have been hearing about this, but apparently he was smuggled out of Cuba by the Zetas Mexican cartel, a business owner in Florida, a South Florida air conditioning company owner paid the Zetas Mexican cartel to smuggle out Yasiel Puig.
$250,000.
Exactly. They are extorting him for 20% of his salary, and if he signed a 7-year, $42 million contract, what's 20% of that? A lot of dough. And Yasiel Puig, I would say maybe the International Gem Tower in New York is where you can be the safest because I don't know if the Zetas are going to get through there. But Michael, can you imagine, the security at Chavez Ravine? I mean, you've obviously been to, a number of Dodger games throughout your life, and so have I. Can you imagine the security at Chavez Ravine if you're trying to weed out Mexican nationals at a Dodgers baseball game?
Well, I'll tell you what a cool air conditioning deal that was.
Yeah, that's the other thing that kind of throws you off. Is an air conditioning guy is the guy smuggling in Yasiel Puig, and then he keeps them down in Mexico.
Yes, in a
because
hotel
they have to
for
use
2 weeks.
They have to use a third country to make this work or whatever. And then there was the threatening of chopping off limbs and whatnot
That's right.
if they didn't get paid.
We get your thumbs.
And now the deal is, I spent $250,000 to get you here. Now you owe me 20%, which,
That's
like
it.
you said, is like $8 million or something like that.
It's unbelievable.
And they're sweating them at practice and at games now.
Yeah, well, that was where this the Los Angeles Magazine wrote a really long expose about this. It just came out this last week, and it was very detailed. It was very telling to see the kinds of things people will go through in order to flee political persecution. So interesting, and we poke a little fun at there. But Yasiel, hope you're all right. I'm a huge Dodger fan, but if you need any dough, go see Jordan. Maybe you can get some of Don Mattingly's World Series rings from the Yankees and pawn those ones. I think Jordan likes them.
I'll tell you a point you made though, Dave, and we were talking about it on break. Just because you're famous or you're a celebrity doesn't mean you know how to manage your finances or credit.
Right.
We were talking at the break. I'm sure there's famous people out there that whatever they may do, they've never been taught how to pay their bills.
Right.
And so bills stack up, and when bills stack up, credit goes out the window, and you have bad credit, you can't borrow.
Yeah, no, but you're absolutely right. You can't borrow anything, and that's why we're talking here on Pawn Talk Live about some of the coolest things that you can pawn at any pawn shop as well, Michael. Now, at the beginning of the show, you and I and Chad were running over a couple of hot items. We talked about the Rolex watches. We talked about guns. Obviously, revolvers right now, like Don had mentioned down at the store, are in super high demand. Now, you guys can accept, and you can buy guns from people. You can pawn guns. You guys are a full-service firearm distributor, correct?
Yes, we're a federal firearms license holder, which is, a coveted license, and you go through quite a background check. We have the authority to sell, pawn, trade, consign firearms, and we do all those. We sell our firearms on our website at www.maxpawnlv.com, and you can go to our website and click on the auction arms button and see the firearms. We don't sell them over the counter, but if you see something on the web and you're local, you can come in, ask for it, ask for one of our experts, Ray's one of the top guys, Don, and we can sell you right on the spot. There is a background check that happens with every gun, and you have to go through the background check, and we're a big supporter of background check.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And, great point, though, Michael. When you come down to the store, it's not that you're going to see the firearms behind the display counter. They are locked up in back, but you can come down. There's a lot of computer screens down at Max Pawn as well, so you can get online and really shop while you're there. A couple of other things that I wanted to touch on because folks might be out here. It's Easter weekend, and if you're having a tough time, this isn't, one of the fun times to have it when you're, trying to plan a big family dinner. But if you need a little money, Max Pawn can help you out. And we did talk about guns, and we talked about watches. But, Michael, what about things like big screen TVs? So say I've got an LG 42-inch, TV. Is this something that I can still get a decent amount of money with at your pawn store?
The electronics, of course, hold value, but they lose value so quick as well. So, the newer the product is, of course, the condition. You have all the manuals, the remotes. You get the higher values. But, it's the weekend for Easter. We're going to be closed Easter Sunday, so if you need extra cash, we do give extra cash. We do have new store hours. We're open 9 to 8 now, so we have a promotion on Fridays, and we're going to carry that promotion on 98-cent DVDs, $3.90, 98-cent DVD
box sets.
Yep. And then we have Blu-rays for $3.98. So just mention you heard us on Pawn Talk, and I wish everyone a happy Easter, and a safe weekend, and we have a lot to be blessed for.
Yeah, no, we really do. It's been such a really great week out here in Las Vegas, like Chad mentioned. I mean, the weather's been fantastic. We haven't gotten any snow. We're obviously a lot luckier than some of the folks around the country right now when it comes to specifically their weather. So, happy Good Friday, you guys. I can't believe 2 hours is up already. Been a really fun day here on KDWN 720. We'll be back with you next Friday with an all-new Live Las Vegas. We're going to have a special new guest with us. You're going to really, really enjoy this young lady. And Michael, of course, will be breaking down more pawn news in Pawn Talk Live. So for Michael Mack, for Chad Forrester, for Angie, and for Jim Dallas, I'm Dave Carney. Have a very good Friday and a happy Easter. We'll see you guys here next week.
At Credit Restoration of Nevada, all we do is fix credit. Need your credit restored to get approved for a mortgage, a new car, or credit card? We can do that. Need something removed from your credit from a collection agency? We can do that. Most of what we do at Credit Restoration of Nevada is money-back guaranteed. Find us online at crnevada.com or call us today at 778-2000. Don't live with bad credit. Let us fix it for you now. 778-2000.
Hi, this is Michael Mack, owner of world-famous Max Pawn in Las Vegas. You ever wondered what those valuables are worth? Had a pawn question but didn't know who to ask? I have the solution for you. Join me and Dave Carney every Friday from 2 to 3 for Pawn Talk Live here on News Radio 720 KDWN.
Hey, this is Rabbi Yitzwine of Young Israel Aish of Las Vegas. Please join me on The Rabbi Show every Sunday morning as we explore how you can expand joy and gratitude in your life to make every day a more fulfilling experience. Sunday mornings at 9 on News Talk 720 KDWN.
In order to highlight the growing need for concern and awareness about autism, the Autism Society has been celebrating National Autism Awareness Month since the 1970s. The United States recognizes April as a special opportunity to educate the public about autism and issues within the autism community. Join the Autism Society in getting involved